Okay, let me post on Twitter. Posted. I think that's it. Yeah. No,
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, right. What episode? 540, 544. Okay.
Let's do it.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. But this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 544. We are part of Dash Radio. My name is Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, my name is Mark. Nice to meet you, Jay.
Good. I'm glad we got that out of the way. So
The sound. What's going on? Do you hear that?
no.
Okay, I guess I only hear things. Anyway, I saw something that, and I don't have the exact. I was trying to find it before we go on the show, but the Knicks, like under Hornacek, Fizdale, and whoever else has coached them in the last couple of years, they were something like 4-12 in the last 3 or 4 three seasons. Under Tibbs, they are now, I think, currently like 6-1 or 5-1.
6-1. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. Not that preseason matters, but holy shit, it's just a different. I love that Tibbs comes to play every goddamn game. And also, forgetting all the wins, whatever, the Knicks have looked goddamn awesome this preseason. I don't know if they'll look this awesome when the season starts, but holy crap, they've given me a lot of hope so far.
Yeah, I saw the Lakers and Nets played, and they're playing like the end of their bench, and then the Knicks have a preseason game, and it's like their full starting lineup, almost like regular minutes. It's awesome.
Knicks are like, I'm going to need 48 minutes from you guys tonight. Everyone's playing the entire game. I actually, if we didn't have to with depth, I think Tibbs might go 40 minutes and not 40 minutes for some of the guys. But luckily, we have a lot of depth.
I'm glad there's a lot of depth this year.
By the way, there's even more depth because Julius Randall added a baby to the family.
Oh,
He missed the last game because of the birth of his little one, who will eventually start for the Knicks in 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, it's a prediction. It's accurate. You can check in with me 20 years from now. Randall's little one is going to start for the Knicks. I actually don't know if he had a boy or girl, but either way, going to start for the Knicks.
Cool. So
Yeah.
Today we're doing our roster power rankings.
Yes.
I only went up to 15. The Knicks just signed Miles Powell, so they have 20 players on the roster now. They're going to have to cut that down anyway, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys are just signed for training camp purposes, and also just probably going to Westchester, which Westchester's playing in Connecticut this year because of the Westchester station is being used. Westchester County Center, where the games would normally be, is being used for some, I think something COVID related, and so they're moving the actual games.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard that, but
no,
not that
I
important.
it's okay. I think I know exactly. Now that I live in Westchester, I think I know where they're actually playing.
Oh, okay. Well, they're not playing in Westchester.
I think that's where I got my vaccines, actually.
I think that's probably part of the issue. Anyway, either way, so we're going to do our power rankings. Knicks had 2 great preseason games. They won both games at around 20 points each, which is goddamn awesome. The Pacers and Wizards played some of their starters. Pacers were missing some starters. It doesn't really matter. We got to see these guys play. They all looked awesome. The game 1, the Knicks were kind of doing everything and looking amazing. Game 2, there was 3-point shooting galore. I mean, the biggest take before we go into the power rankings, what's your biggest takeaway from the first 2 games?
Well, a couple players seem to look better than they did last season, specifically Obi.
Yes.
And Quickly. So, I mean, that the Knicks needed that. A lot of teams in the East got better. The Knicks got better players, but they also needed the players currently on the roster to still improve to keep pace with the other teams.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say one of the big takeaways also is the first game, the Knicks shot 37 3-pointers. They shot an amazing percentage. Game 2, but they won by 20. Game 2, they shot 50. What is it? What's the actual number? 52 3-pointers, which I think might be the most the Knicks have ever shot in a game. Making 24, shooting 46%. The Knicks have a lot of 3-point shooting. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways is just like the team is stacked with guys who can shoot.
Yeah, it's a very nice change. I know they shot well last season, but some people didn't think it was sustainable. Also,
yeah.
thank you for the follows, people. So
I could listen to a show where I just hear that for 48 straight minutes. But I mean, even Gibson hit. Even Taj hit. Is that another one?
wow, we're blowing up today. Thank you.
Blowing up tonight. Knox hit 4 3-pointers, but everyone can shoot threes. It's kind of crazy. Knicks have.
Yeah.
Okay, this is come on. Why don't we go into we can talk about the player as we're doing the power rankings. We talk about the players. How's that?
All right, sounds good. Speaking of good shooting, I'm reading this book, Knicks of the 90s by Paul Nepper, and it's amazing how many bad shooters they had on the team while still being competitive.
Yeah.
Almost everybody on the roster was bad at shooting.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, someone's hacked the system, Jay.
I don't know, we got 4 new followers. Okay,
Okay,
I'll
fine.
take it.
Is this going to keep happening? It's also, by the way, the Knicks have like 7 guys that can go off for 20 on any given night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, obviously Randall, Barrett, Rose, Kemba, IQ, Burks. Who am I missing? Who else? And maybe I guess you can count Toppin, because I kind of think you might be able to count Toppin in that also.
Did you say
But the Knicks
quickly?
have a lot. I think I said quickly. Am I missing someone? Anyway.
Yeah.
Fournier. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Not Toppin. Like, there's 7 guys in this team who can score 20 on any given night. Like, the Knicks have a lot of guys, a lot of firepower. Also, those teams, they managed to surround Patrick Ewing with so few players that could play offense. It was ridiculous.
It really
That's
was.
another-
It was sad.
Yeah. They were like, we found this guy from another league in John Starks, and he's your second best player. Anyway, why don't we start our power rankings? Jay, you want to go first?
Sure.
By the way, this is just for anyone who hasn't listened before. Every year, Jay puts together Knicks player power rankings. And the idea is we kind of rank the players as they go along. For many seasons, it was very depressing. Some seasons we'd stop after 2 and be like, holy crap, I can't believe we have to go on. This year, it's kind of deep. Go.
Yeah, I think 2 seasons ago, I did like 3 weeks. Kevin Knox was in the top 5, and I was just like, I can't do this weekly right now. So I'm gonna try and go back to weekly.
My question is, how are you ranking them? What is your basis here when you say like when you're ranking them? Because I try and think about this. I'm like, is this the importance to the team? How well they're playing? What is it?
Right now, I'm going by a combination of importance to the team, how well they're playing, if they're even playing, and how I think they're going to be playing in the next immediate future, like in the next week or so.
Okay, I'm going basically on importance to the team and for this season.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to say how well they're playing because they just played 2 preseason games, but okay, let's go start it off.
All right. So my number 1 is Randall.
Holy shit! What a shocker!
I
I can't believe you said Randall.
Really went out on a limb for that one.
So what do you think, Randall? What's your expectation for Randall this season? What's going to be better? Let's talk about each player a little bit as we do it.
I think he's going to have a similar season. I think he'll be more efficient because he's got a lot more teammates who are a threat on the court, so teams won't double team him as much. He does have a lot more scorers on the team, so his points per game might go down a little bit, but I think he'll be shooting more efficiently, and I think he's probably been working on his rebounds. So
yeah,
I'm expecting a similar production as last season.
I think the biggest difference you'll see for Randall's game is he'll have a lot more easy baskets, which he didn't have a lot of last year.
Yeah.
I bet his overall, maybe his 3-point percentage will go down a little bit. He also, I feel like he might score a few less points per game. I feel like he also will realize he doesn't need to be lead the league team in points every night because he's got so much firepower in this team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe assists go down. I don't know, but I still think he'll have a great season. But it may, numbers wise, maybe a little off, like you said.
Yeah.
Who's your number 2, Jay?
My number 2 is Barrett.
Like I thought we were going to differ.
I think after 2 it'll differ, but I mean, I think these are clearly the 2 best players on the team right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think Barrett is also just like level of importance to this team is just second to Randall. We need him to. He was really good last season. He's got to get a little better. What I'm expecting from him. I think Tibbs has challenged him to be a better perimeter defender. I think his defense is going to be better this season. I think the 3-point shooting already in preseason, he's shooting well from 3-point land. I think the 3-point shooting is for real. I think generally he needs to be better at finishing at the rim. I think overall we'll see more consistency. I think we're going to see not as big a jump from year 1 to year 2, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a jump this year also. I think I'm believing more and more that Barrett will be an all-star. Maybe not this season, but very soon.
From what I've been seeing, a lot of the Knicks have been hitting the gym in the offseason, really working on their game, trying to improve, not just screwing around, like really making an effort to patch up holes in their game and get better, which is really good to see.
Yeah, I mean, I get the sense that like Tibbs is a guy who just like he sleeps, eats, basketball is everything to him, and they've kind of built a roster of other guys who have a similar feeling to it. Like the IQ is a gym rat. They say off top it is a gym rat. Him and IQ were working out together all off season. Julius Randall made a huge leap last year because he was just worked hardcore in the off season. He works hard. RJ is known to work really hard. Like I know other guys, everyone in the NBA works hard, but it seems to me the Knicks have a lot of guys who I think outwork other guys.
This does have a lot of parallels to the 90s Knicks teams where they might not have the most talent, but they're going to out hustle you and give more effort than the other team. And they're going to win some games that maybe on paper they shouldn't just because of that.
Yeah. I think they have a coach that's all in, and I think the players are all in maybe he'll wear in them, but right now I think the players are all in, ride or die for Tibbs. And like they're in for his system. Everyone's going to play together, and they're all going to work just as hard as he's working.
Speaking of not all in, Korb said he's so happy we didn't get Kyrie.
Who said that? Oh, from the chat room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Knicks don't have a player that's not allowed to play home games.
That could be a problem.
I mean, the Kyrie thing. Holy, get the guy. I am glad the NBA is just like, okay, we're not going to make an all-star exception.
Well,
maybe
you saw the Nets said he's just not playing at all because they don't want him part-time.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that. I saw they were not going to let him practice. Because there was an exception. He could practice in the facility because it was like considered private property.
They went back on it. They said they don't want him anywhere near the team unless he can be a full-time participant. And they implied that they checked with everybody. So that implies that Durant and Harden were in on this decision.
I mean, it's a bad look for the NBA if they make an exception. I'm glad the Nets are like, this is more important. It would be a bad look for the Nets. Like
It would.
Okay,
right.
so
number 3.
Number 3.
I went with Kemba Walker.
Our listeners aren't going to be different, huh?
I mean, 8-time All-Star. He looks healthy now. We'll see if 3 games from now he looks healthy. But right now, talent-wise, he's clearly top 3 player on the team.
I am going to say that Derrick Rose may average the same or slightly more minutes than Kemba this year. I think the Knicks. I know Tibbs is known to like press the minutes. I think Kemba's minutes most games will not go over 25 minutes.
I mean, that's fine. If he's healthy and he can play like old Kemba, but only for 25 minutes a game, I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It seemed like in the preseason, he really split the minutes. It's really exciting to have 2 guys who can really handle the point guard position. They're not 23-year-old point guards who are like setting the world on fire. But Kemba was an all-star. He can do a lot of things he used to do. same with Derrick Rose. It's just exciting to have like 48 minutes of like pure competence at the point guard position.
Yeah.
Guys who can like really get their teammates involved. And the whole thing of like they asked Rose, who's the starter? And Rose goes, Kemba is. I'm excited to have him the starter. I'll move right over. I'm so excited to have Kemba on this team.
It's really amazing to just have competence at the point guard. Even that 90s book I'm reading, it was like Greg Anthony was the backup point guard. And then when like Doc Rivers went down, they put Greg Anthony in, and Pat Riley's like, we have to make a trade because Greg Anthony's so bad, I can't even play him. And that was the team that went to the finals. It's like, it's unbelievable.
You know what's also Kemba? You forget like he can shoot the three. Like he shot in the preseason. He shot like some like long distance threes. I was like, oh, that's nice. That was a good shot. He made it. Like this is great.
Yeah.
He can get to the basket. Like, and we're not asking Kemba to do too much. We're not asking him to rest. We're not asking him to save this team. We're asking him, hey, can you be a component of making this team look good?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
number
four?
4, I'm guessing you have the same, Fournier.
So 4, I'm having Rose.
Okay.
The other half of the point guard duo.
That's absolutely fair.
By the way, if I also would say if Rose or Kemba are injured at any point, I'm feeling pretty good about IQ at the point guard position.
Yeah.
But we'll get to him.
Yeah.
I would say point guard is just so important to this team. Derrick Rose was probably the best player in the playoffs for the Knicks last year. Him joining the team like the second half of the season. Once he joined the team took off. He adds so much energy to the team. His defense is better than you expect. I think he brings a lot to the team on a nightly basis. And like I just watching the second unit last year, I was so excited to see like how Rose adds to the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be like, I mean, first of all, going back and not having what's his name at point guard, having Kemba instead.
So Corb said he's watched most of the Celtics games the last 2 years, and Kemba's great with more than 1 day of rest. He gets tired quickly, but if he gets more than a day, he's going to be really good. So,
well, that's why I think if you limit his minutes, like no more than 25 minutes a night, like you really put him on a minutes restriction, like with reason. I know Tim, and I think Tibbs could do that if he has a second point guard who he really believes in.
Yeah. No matter.
Anyway, I think why do you put Fournier over Rose?
I feel like Fournier is gonna have a bigger role. He's gonna play more minutes. He's gonna put up more points. He can also he can run some offense through him. I just feel like he's gonna be a bigger part of the team. Rose is gonna be like insurance for Kemba. Fournier is gonna play a huge role on the team.
So I would say I don't want to say Rose is insurance for Kemba. I think they're both going to play a lot of minutes at point guard. Mm-hmm. So I'd say less insurance, more just like he's going to lead the second unit, which is going to be very important, and probably take more minutes than most backup point guards take. I put Fournier, not to have a spoiler, but Fournier is my next guy on the list because he does add a ton. And Fournier, for once, is not being at like in Orlando. They were like, we don't know what we're doing. Fournier, could you try to make it work here with like just no. At least Fournier is in a he's finally in a system that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it was close for me. I had Rose next, so it's not like you know. The Flow Show pod said Fournier is his favorite player. He's a Magic fan, but he's looking forward to them playing the Knicks because he still wants to see Fournier. So
there was a game the Knicks played because Fournier also had some injury issues, but there's a game when he came back. He played the Knicks last year. I remember watching the game and being like, why can't the Knicks get a guy like Fournier? I mean, I like it's not that he was like, we have to get him or anything. I just remember watching and be like, this guy's pretty good. Like, what the hell? Like, how is Orlando so bad they have this guy?
I mean, if Fournier is your 4th or 5th option, that's amazing. That's great.
That's what the Knicks have. They have a lot of guys who are like, if this guy's your 3rd or 4th option, wow, this looks pretty good. This is the Knicks. The biggest theme here is depth. They have a lot of guys that can play the positions and play them like above average.
Nomad says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you that teams are going to hunt Kemba on defense, even when healthy, his defense is non-existent?
You know what? Like, Elfrid Payton sucks. The Knicks could have hunt Elfrid Payton last year, and he was like a decent. It is what it is. I'll take Kemba's offense. I'll take Derrick Rose's offense. Neither one of them are going to be great at point guard, at defense. I'm not that concerned about this. Also, especially if we have our centers.
Well, for me, if the centers come back and Randall and Barrett are decent on defense, you can have one bad defender and be fine. It's when you have multiple bad defenders that it's a problem. So,
Right.
you know,
I think
Nash wasn't a good defender, and Phoenix almost won the championship like 3 times. So you can do it.
Yeah, you just need like the center position is so important for defense. The Knicks in the playoffs last year, I like Taj a lot. Taj can do a lot. He's not really. You need a bigger. You need a healthy Noel, or you need Mitch, or both of them. That makes a huge difference on defense. You need an anchor for the defense, and that can make up for a point guard who can't play defense.
True.
By the way, Walker tries on defense. My understanding is he's just small and like not. He's not always fast enough these days.
Yeah, I mean, at least he puts in effort.
Yeah, he puts in effort.
I have a feeling our 6 is the same too.
Okay, I think you're wrong, but okay, go on.
Okay, for 6, I have 6th man quickly.
Okay, so I am not putting quickly here. I am putting this guy here because I think he can be a difference maker.
You're
if he
about to
comes
say
back
something
healthy.
crazy, aren't you?
I'm going to say Mitchell Robinson.
Oh, okay, I
And
thought you were going to say Toppin.
No. And the reason I'm saying Mitchell Robinson is because I feel he can be a difference maker that can really elevate this team, especially with we just really have been missing what he does on offense, where we can think just from finishing alley oops to like putbacks to being just like a force on defense everyone has to reckon with. I think they can make a huge difference in this team. I know actually numbers wise last year, the Knicks actually played better with Noel than Mitch, but I think given more time and Mitch being able to not foul, I think I have a high hopes for what Mitch can do with this team.
That's all fair. I have Mitch way lower just because he's not healthy and we don't know when he's coming back. So from a power ranking perspective, he's near the bottom of my list. All valid points for when he comes back.
I mean, the sense I get is, and I don't have obviously have no information, but like the way they said, it sounds like he'll be back in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine I imagine by January at the latest, he'll be in full Mitch mode. Hopefully, I think we'll see a big difference with him back. I am also really concerned with this team and the center position, by the way. I'm really concerned that our 2 centers have not played yet in the preseason.
I'm a little concerned about that too. I'm concerned about point guard and center.
At least the point guards are playing, and we have 3 of them right now.
Yeah.
My next one, I'm putting IQ next. IQ. What were your argument for IQ, by the way?
I think he so far he looks better in preseason. I think he's going to have a big role. I think there's going to be days where Rose and maybe Kemba both miss the game, and quickly he's playing 35 minutes, and he's going to be very important for the team. And so that's why I put him there.
Yeah, can't disagree. I also feel like he's looked a lot, and it's only preseason. He's looked a lot better just operating at point guard, like finding guys.
Making
he's
better
also
decisions,
making better decisions. He's also looked better just like driving with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's not taking some of those shitty floater. Like, I like his floater. It's not the most accurate shot. He has to use it sparingly. He's trying to get to the basket a little more, and he's taking some jump shot. Like, he's doing more inside the arc, and I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I like IQ a lot, obviously. Okay, I have IQ next. Who do you have next?
Burks.
Yeah, it's crazy how deep this team is. So I haven't even gotten the Burks.
Usually when I do these rankings, I'm like, I have no idea who to put after like 4 or 5 because everybody sucks. And now it's like, I have Burks in the middle of the roster who can put up 20 points a game. Like, this is so nice.
Yeah, this is just how crazy deep. Next, I'm going to have, and before Burks, I'm going to have Noel. Mm-hmm. And again, for the reasons I gave, I put IQ in the middle there, but the center position is so important. Having these guys healthy, having a healthy Noel just makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, same logic for me. Noel's not playing, so he dropped down on my list. I don't think he's going to stay there, but right now,
I understand completely. I can live with I can live with a Taj as a backup. And Taj has played great, by the way, in preseason.
Yeah.
But I can live with a Taj as a backup. I can't like if he's your starting center, it's just going to be really it's going to hurt in the playoffs and just it's not a sustainable thing.
No, it's not. Especially since behind Taj, it's like now you're going to.
So I'm going to go as far as
Sims.
saying that I think the Knicks might have made a mistake when they released Norvel Pell in the offseason.
I don't know. We're getting. Corb is asking about Jericho Sims.
Yeah, I've watched him, and that's why I'm saying I think it might have been a mistake when we let go of Norvel Pell. I think Jericho Sims looks pretty exciting. I would love to see what he can do in the G League this year. And maybe next year when he's ready. He's a two-way contract, so he can't even play for the Knicks that many games anyway. He's not ready for the NBA. He's had some nice dunks, some putbacks. His defense, whatever the numbers look like in the box score, his defense does not look great. He doesn't know right where to be yet. He just needs, I think the Knicks made a great pick getting him at 58. I mean, having a guy that could really be a solid backup in the future is wonderful. He needs time in the G League. That's all.
I think it's fine. If Noel comes back for game one, him and Taj can hold the fort until Robinson comes back, and then you're stacked at the center position. So I think they'll be okay.
I would go as far as saying I would think if Norvel Pell is out there, I give him the 15th spot on the roster. I don't know how much I need Dwayne Bacon.
Okay.
The Knicks need depth at center. That's all. Okay.
Spoiler alert,
so next,
Dwayne Bacon's my number 15. I think he's going to
I'm taking next.
I'm
going to have spot. Alec Burks. Alec Burks he was a lot of times last season, like he was one of the best scorers, but like he was instant offense some nights. He's a huge guy to have in this team. And to have him, as you said, in the middle is amazing.
So you have him at 8?
Yeah, I guess I have him at 8. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's great.
Yeah.
I had Taj Gibson just because he's the only healthy center. So I had to put him there.
I love Taj. I'm just not putting him as high because I don't think I'll put him shortly thereafter. I just don't like he gives so much to this team. It's just that, like, as far as level of importance for this team, like the other centers are more important.
Yeah, I was going more as like the current health of the team and where they are, like at this exact moment.
Jay, we should never be on the same page with these things.
Well, because I mean, if you're doing a power ranking, like,
but what is that? Like, it's hard to do a power ranking when the teams haven't played any actual game. They've only played preseason games, so
that's why Taj is higher because I'm basing it on the preseason game.
I know. I'm just saying, like, the Knicks, if it was a week into the season, I'd based off the games they've already played. But I with preseason. Anyway, who's your next player? Did I say Taj? I said Burks. You said Taj. Who's next?
And they say Gibson's the youngest 50-year-old NBA player ever.
He's really elevating his game at 37.
I have Obi next.
Yeah, okay. I have Obi next also.
Number 9. I mean,
also,
he's improved, but like, there's a lot of talent on this team, so 9 is as high as I could put him.
And his 3-point shot looks.
When the centers come back, he might fall to 10 or 11, and that's not a knock against them. That's just the way the team is right now.
Yeah. So Obi, his 3-point shots look better. So in game 1, he was a lot more aggressive, and like it looked awesome. In game 2, Randall was out because of the birth of his child, and Toppin got the start.
Mm-hmm.
And in game 2, he looked like he was a little more lost with the starting unit of how to fit in. He shot some threes. Later in the game, the second half, he had a couple plays, and he actually had some plays on defense also. But so he was giving it all on defense. I wanted to see more game 1 Toppin as opposed to game 2 Toppin. I need him to get the ball and be more aggressive, and also I need him to I need him to be like not only be aggressive when he gets the ball, set himself up to get the ball. There were a lot of plays where the Knicks were going to Taj or Jericho Sims, and I'm like, if they got the ball to Toppin down low, wouldn't that work out so much better?
Right.
Not that I think you have Jericho Sims sitting at the 3-point line or Taj sitting at the 3-point line. It's just I don't know. You need to find ways to get him the ball. Both. He's got to find ways, and Nick's got to find ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like Toppin will be better with the second unit than with the first unit. And not that he's going to play much minutes with the first unit, but in the second unit, I think he'll feel more comfortable coming out there with IQ or even with Rose, I guess.
But it's also he's probably going to be playing against the other team's bench unit too, and it's probably a better matchup for him at this point.
Yeah. Okay, who's next? I have Taj next at 10.
I had Noel because I think he's close to coming back. So
Okay.
And
Who are you? We're at 10, and you didn't include Mitch yet.
No, because I have no idea when he's coming back, so he's way down on the list for me.
No, I'm just trying to figure out who I've included, like that you haven't included, or you include that.
Yeah, it's Mitch. Yeah.
No, I'm saying how are we both at 10 then. Okay, I don't know. I somehow I messed this up or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay, 11. Who's 11 then?
McBride.
Yeah. Okay, I'm putting McBride at 11.
You didn't go past 10, did you?
Shut up. Anyway, I'm putting McBride there. Him and Grimes both are exciting. Just what I saw from McBride in preseason, I'm a little more excited about him than Grimes. I'm excited about both of them. McBride, I'm just a little more excited. McBride plays point guard, which we have a lot of depth finally, but I don't know. They both look really good.
Yeah.
But Grimes comes next for me.
Yeah, that I did the same thing because I thought McBride had a couple more plays where I was like, oh, I want to see more of this than Grimes so far.
Okay. After all that, I would have Jericho Sims.
Okay.
By the way, of all the guys we drafted, Jericho Sims has played the most of all the point guards. I mean, I'm sorry, of all the rookies, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. I have at 13, I have Kevin Knox.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot about Knox. I'm going to move. I guess I'll move Sims back. I'll put Knox here also. I agree with you.
Did you make a list at all, or are you doing the whole thing off the top of your head?
Jay, please. Let's not go behind the curtain, okay?
Okay.
I forgot about Knox. Anyway, which most Knicks fans have forgotten about Knox. He hit some threes. I still think he looked kind of lost on defense against Washington. I don't know. Knox, I said this last season. I'll say it again. Best case for Knox is Steve Novak.
Yeah. He's never
Steve Novak
be as good of a shooter as Novak was, though.
Knox is a pretty good shooter from three.
He's pretty good.
But I don't know with this team if even a Steve Novak type, I mean, he's not going to be a Steve Novak light is going to have a big role in this team because there are a bunch of other guys that can shoot threes who could do other things. Currently, Kevin Knox can only shoot threes, not much else.
Yeah. Andrew said Mark did his list backwards or something weird like normal.
There's no normal with me. And then I would take Sims, and then my list is over at that point. I think I'm at 14 players. I'm not ranking Dwayne Bacon or whoever else will be on the roster.
Yeah, I had Mitch. I explained why he's so low, and then I had Bacon, just because I feel like he's going to get the last spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think he adds more than Wayne Selden does. By the way, so Julius Randall wasn't available for game 2. Why is he ranked number 1 in your list? Just in the sense of your list is all about what they've done in the preseason. Randall's only played in half the games. Shouldn't he be ranked lower than 1? Maybe guys who played both games should be ranked ahead of him. Your logic doesn't make sense, Jay.
It makes perfect sense. He played game 1 and he's not injured.
Okay, fine. But apparently every time he has a baby, he misses a game.
Well, let's hope he's got one wife and it's minimum amount of time he's going to miss is 9 months.
Okay, let's go some Facebook questions. Paul writes, who's our third scorer behind Randall and Knox? Ha ha. Okay, so if you had to rank our top 3 scorers, which I think we kind of just did anyway with our list, but Randall's 1. Like if you need a point at the end of a game, you go to Randall first. Who's second to you in your mind? You need a bucket.
Probably Kemba.
Yeah, Kemba can create the best of all. Like everyone else, Kemba can get his own basket the best of anyone else in the roster.
Yeah.
And who's 3?
3 might be like hot hand situation because you have Barrett, Fournier, and Burks. So
Yeah,
like,
I'm asking you, Jay. We are going to like like this. You have to just pick, Jay. You need a bucket right now. If you don't get a bucket, I'm not going to put your life in the line. But it's like you need a bucket. Like you need a bucket. Like who's your third guy? Just pick right now. Forget hot hand. Just pick. Who do you have the most faith in? I agree with you, Kemba. Number 2. Who's your 3?
I think Burks.
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like I don't see him breaking a lot of shots out there. I haven't seen enough of Fournier to know if he's streaky or dependable. And Barrett, I don't think is good enough creating his own shot yet to put the ball in his hands. I feel like
right.
Burks can create his own shot easier.
I was going to say Rose for that kind of reason. I get the Burks argument. I would just take Rose because I'd have more faith in Rose getting us the bucket.
And Andrew said stealth bucket Knox. No. No.
Yeah, I don't see that. I'd say IQ maybe for stealth bucket. Man, there's so many players in this team that I like.
There's nobody on the roster that I dislike, which is great.
Christian writes, "Are you guys going to the Knicks parade?" Jay, what time do you want to go to the title? Are we gonna meet ahead of time or meet at the championship parade?
Yeah, we could pre-party a little bit and then go.
Okay. Anthony said, "I said it weeks ago. Are you on board with Obi-Wan wagon?"
Can I have like 1 foot on the wagon? I'm like
Why?
I'm like tentatively on. I know
I
you're way
feel
more on the wagon than I am.
Yeah, I am feeling a lot better about this pick. I mean, whatever you want to make, I don't think we're going to spend the whole season being like, I can't believe we did get Halliburton. I think Halliburton would be the better
Oh,
pick.
I will be. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm going to feel a lot better about this pick. Whereas at no point have I felt a lot better about the Knox pick or, I mean, Frank pick. I wanted Frank, but I never felt great about that. It's like at least this pick, I'm going to feel a little better. I feel like Obi will develop, even though he's at a position that we have like locked down with Randall. I think I'm going to feel a lot better this season about the Obi pick.
Yeah.
George writes, after the first 2 preseason games, can you confidently say the Knicks are winning the championship?
100%.
I'm going to disagree with him only because he only put championship in singular and it needs to be plural.
Okay. Good point.
We got to get locked in next year's shot title also. Paul writes, Kemba Rose Media Day was a love fest. Kemba said he wants to learn from Rose. What sort of things would that be?
I mean, Rose has been in a lot of playoff games with Chicago, so probably playing under pressure, not getting in your own head in big moments.
So Kemba up to this point in his career has been like when he's playing, he's generally without injury, he's been the dominant player on the floor and the team runs around him.
Mm-hmm.
Kemba Rose used to be this guy, like everything ran around him. And then he adapted to being, I'm going to be a guy off the bench. I'm going to be part of the team. I don't need to be the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had more of a role in the team as opposed to just like, basically, I think Kemba can learn how to take his career to the next level in the sense of being like, hey, I'm going to be part of this team. I'm going to be, if you need me to start, you need me to bench. This game is not about me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Rose might be like, look, if you try and do everything, you're just going to get injured again. Your knees aren't what they used to be. And play a team game, let everyone else do their thing as well and puts less pressure on you and it'll save your knees and extend your career years.
Right. Rose used to be attack. He put his body like through a lot and had a lot of injuries. He adapted his game. Kemba's a really good shooter. He can adapt his game in that respect. He doesn't need to always be attacking. If you remember, one of the great players from our youth, offensive players, Allen Iverson, was amazing. His career ended at some point because he couldn't be, it was only all Allen Iverson or nothing.
Yeah.
He could not be like a guy who played 25 minutes a night. And whereas a guy like Vince Carter was an unbelievable offensive player and stayed in the league for 20 years because he learned to grow in a role basically throughout his career.
Yeah. It almost ended Melo's career until he realized, hey, I'm going to have to take a step back and play more of a team game.
Right. And I think I would say with Kemba, if he can be a guy that like can be happy with 20 to 25 minutes a night and not always like protect his body while contributing, it'll make a huge difference. And so I think he can learn a lot from Rose, actually. And I don't know if I think Paul was joking with this, but I think it's a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yusuf writes, what have you thought about Sims in the first 2 preseason games? Do you think he'll have more of a impact this year than Toppin or even IQ did last year?
No, I think he's fine, but I think he's more of a stash for next year.
I think he'll look really good in the G League, and we'll be excited about him for next year.
Yeah.
I think the center, I think there's a lot to learn he played 4 years in college, which is great. There's a lot to learn to be ready for the NBA defense. I think there's nothing wrong with looking at Sims and going, this guy's a real project, but he's super athletic, and with help, he could be really, like, he doesn't have much of a game on the off around. He doesn't have much of a back to the basket game. He can learn that. He can learn just to be spacing wise weird to be on defense. I think the Knicks probably look at him and go, like, here's a guy in a couple of years will save us a lot of money at center.
Right. Yeah. You know, when Gibson's ready to retire, Sims could fill that role.
Or I mean, when Noel's contract's up, Sims could take over. Maybe Mitch has got, who knows? Jay, you feeling good about this team?
I am feeling very good about this team.
I mean, when's the last time you were this excited in the preseason? I think I may have asked you this last show, but asking again.
I think episode 1, when they just got Amari, and we were like, hey, they're going to be really good. Let's start a show.
I think the last time I was not in the preseason, the last time I felt this, I guess the 54 win season, that was a pretty awesome season.
But we weren't this high coming into the season. We didn't think they were going to be that good.
No, you're right. Like when we got Amari, I felt like that was the time we felt like pretty good about the team, even though we didn't get LeBron. I don't know if the year after we got Melo, we were going into the season, we felt, there was always reasons to be like both excited and frustrated with this team, even coming into the seasons.
Yeah, because I remember even after the 54 win season, we're like, well, we have 5 guys over 40, not sustainable. So, you know, we were happy with that season, but we knew that was kind of fluky.
Well, also the following preseason, you were like, hey, this team won 54 games last year. That's great. What's this guy Bargs doing on the team? Like, you just knew like the team was just being mismanaged. They like you knew something was wrong.
Honestly, not to go into the whole thing again, I would have been upset if they did Camby for Barks straight up. The draft picks and the other players and everything, like, it was egregious.
Well, it was egregious no matter what you had to give up to get him. Everything was egregious, but just the misunderstanding that Bargs didn't fit on the team.
Yeah.
It was just I just like the ace is big man. It just made no sense. And obviously Woods had nothing to do with it. He had to accept it. But you had a team that had like figured something out. The Knicks had like, that team shot, I think at the time they had shot like an NBA record number of 3-point shots. And we were like, wait, what's going on? You can't just shoot a crazy number of threes and win games. Like, the Knicks were the Golden State Warriors before the Golden State Warriors. And the Knicks were like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Let's get guys who can't like shoot. And I mean, I guess Barks was supposed to be able to shoot, but he couldn't. It's like Knicks had figured something out and then went against it, and like just like said, let's just forget about everything we figured out.
Yeah. All right. We're just about out of time. 2 quick questions from the chat. If you want to follow us in the chat and join us next time, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. We're also NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to join our Patreon, that's also NY Knicks Podcast.
Look for us on TikTok. We're not on there. Just look for us.
The New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. We are officially sold out of black shirts. So if you want a Knicks Podcast shirt, there's 2 blue ones left, and then that's it. They're officially collector's items. If you want the black shirts, you need to go on the secondary market and find one. Exactly. I hear they go for a lot these days. Black market for black shirts. Yes. Can we convince Jay to make a different color? No. No, I'd have to sell. If I sell the other 2 blue shirts, then I might go do one of those like sites where you can.
They'll print them on demand. Yes, that would
They'll,
make a lot
they'll
more
print them on
sense, Jay.
demand, but that means it's going to be a lot more expensive. So get them while they're cheap. Anyway,
Okay.
Anthony says over under 110 points a game.
Under, only because that's 110 points a game is a lot. By the way, I would like to say I bet $100 on the Knicks going above 41.5 wins the season. I feel like that is a lock. I'm going to win that. Guaranteed I'm going to win this bet or win this yeah.
And over under 100 points allowed.
Under 100 points allowed.
Yeah, I'm going to go under on both. And Nomad says, what would you want more for Barrett? Better defense or better shot decisions?
Better defense.
Yeah. Same.
I think overall that would be the more important thing. And the shot decision, his threes coming around. Yeah, defense. I think that would make a huge difference. If he can become a true two-way player, that would be awesome.
And Corp said he's been listening for 8 years, so he can confirm that we probably haven't been this happy in 8 years.
He's like, in your lives. You've not been this happy in your lives. Let me ask you, Jay. What are you looking forward to the last 2 preseason games?
I'm just looking for more cohesion. Hopefully a center will show up other than Gibson. I would definitely be looking for that. Hopefully a Noel sighting. Maybe a blowout so we can see some Grimes McBride minutes, see if they can do anything.
I'd like to see Grimes and McBride have full second halves. I'd like to see them both get at least 20 minutes in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I like the 2 more preseason games. We see a lot of the starters. I want to see what McBride and Grimes can do.
Yep. All right. So thanks for listening. I'm going to be doing a show on Saturday, which is our live fantasy draft episode. So it's going to be a long one. So you can follow again here, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. Hit that follow button. You get a notification when we go live. And you could see my drafting process. And nobody's been listening since the Barks trade.
Wow. That's what got him to tune in.
That must have been the angriest episode. I know you were like barely containing yourself right after that trade.
I have to say, as far as like, I'm sure I've had other angry moments, but I was very angry. Very angry. I don't want to relive my anger.
And Zapatego said even during the bad years, we kept him entertained. So
It was-
most of
you
the
know what?
years, then they've mostly been bad.
There were very few times in my fandom of any team where I heard a rumor about a trade and said, that is the stupidest goddamn trade rumor. Why are people even talking about that dumb? The Knicks did that?
I know.
It was just mind-boggling.
It sounded like one of those bad moves that you hear on Twitter and everyone makes fun of that person, only it actually happened.
Right. You were like, wait, I thought Toronto was going to cut him. We gave stuff for him?
The computer would have
We're
rejected
giving the
that.
draft picks?
The computer would have rejected that in 2K if you tried that. It would have been like too lopsided.
Right. Like in any fantasy league, they would like, can't do that. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll be back Saturday.
We'll be back with a Brink soon. Knicks probably another Knicks next week. If we're gonna do this more regularly, and tune in for Brink to find out other weird stuff happening to Jay.
Yeah. Take a look at our comedy podcast, The Brink of Sanity, brinkofsanityshow.com. Also on all the podcast outlets. That's our other show. It's it's a comedy show. So it's about us. And
It's nice when the Knicks show wasn't the comedy show.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We will be back soon.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, everybody.
All right. Perfect timing.
Perfect. Cat's home.
Yep. Thanks for joining, everybody. And we'll be back on Saturday.
Perfect.